Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Drop. And this is my first impressions look on the Jordan Tatum 3. Yes, this has been out for like almost a week now. My package actually got stolen from my front door, so I had to, reorder it, which kind of sucks. So that's why this video is a little bit late, so I apologize for that. But yeah, of course, this is Jayson Tatum's signature shoe, his third shoe with Jordan brand, and his line has been pretty good. It hasn't been top tier for me, especially since the traction in all of his shoes hasn't been top tier, right? But yeah, this shoe is retailing for 125 bucks, which I think is a pretty good price. So if you guys do want to cop, I try to leave in the feed link in the description box. If you do choose to get this shoe or the Tatum 2 or the Tatum 1, it does help me out if you buy it through the feed link in the description box, or I try to leave the link right over here or the product pictures underneath this video. And by the way, if you guys wanted to check out my socks, a lot of you guys have been asking me about the socks, like what sock am I wearing in all of my videos. It's my brand, it's called Younghone, and pre-orders are going to be available soon. And also, if you guys want to sign up for email or SMS messages when the release drops, definitely do sign up for that. And as always, thank you guys so much for all the support. The website link will be in the description box below. But let's get it started right off with the traction. So the traction pattern is pretty much a herringbone, and it's kind of like a wavy herringbone traction pattern. It's kind of split into pods, right? So we have the translucent rubber here in the forefoot and heel, and we have a solid white rubber with the Jumpman logo right over here, and then we have a black rubber as well, which is a little bit different from the Tatum 2, which was using rubber pods as well as foam, right? So how does the traction feel in the Tatum 3? It doesn't feel that good, right? And of course, I haven't played in these yet. It's just off my wood floors. So it can perform a little bit different, of course, but just from trying on my wood floors and just from my first impressions, the traction doesn't seem that good, and that's been the biggest downside for Jayson Tatum's signature shoe line. So yeah, the Tatum 1 was actually pretty good on a clean court, but it picked up a good amount of dust. The Tatum 2 picked up a lot of dust, right? It was a dust magnet. When I was playing on a clean court, this shoe was actually pretty dang nice, but on a dusty court, not good. So I don't know, like, it's just starting off right now, it doesn't seem like it has good traction. So I don't know, Jordan brand needs to do something about their rubber compound. So yeah, the Zion 3 was not good, especially on dust. Who else is with Jordan brand? Of course, the Jordan 39, not great on dust either. And also the Luka 3s were not that great on dust. So I don't know, they have to do something about the rubber compound. But yeah, right now, I'm sure it'll break in pretty nicely, and it'll probably have a pretty good bite on a clean court. But I don't think it'll be top tier, right? And also, it'll probably be a dust magnet. But again, that's just from my first impressions. Hopefully it doesn't. And hopefully once I break it in, it gets better and better, and it is top tier. And maybe hopefully the Tatum 3 will be the redemption of his signature shoe line, but we'll have to see on that. And as far as the squeak goes, there's a little bit of a squeak, but not super loud. None of his shoes have been that squeaky. So yeah, of course, it has nothing to do with performance, but I feel like most Hoopers like to have like a little bit of a squeak, you know what I mean? So there's a squeak there. As far as durability goes, durability seems good, however, right? The rubber is actually quite hard. There are a lot of grooves, and grooves are deep and also pretty thick. So you should be pretty okay on an outdoor court. It's just, yeah, the overall traction is not feeling too good. And now moving on to the heel to toe transition, it feels pretty nice so far. So here in the heel, we can see that it's all rubber, and it is very caged. There's not a whole lot of midsole exposed on this entire shoe besides these little pods of the Cushlon. But here in the heel, it's just all caged, and if you press it here, it's a little bit, there's a little bit of compression. It's not that stiff, so it's not super duper clunky here in the heel. And also we have a nice rounded shape, so it's not too bad here in the heel. And then coming into the forefoot, we have a little bit of a curved shape as well. It's not super curved, which I don't really like as much, but at the tip of the toe, there's a nice rocker shape. And then in the forefoot, we have a good amount of forefoot flex, right? And it's not super springy. There's a little bit of springiness to it, but overall, it's just more of a flexible type of feel. And then also torsion support seems good as well. I'm guessing it's because of this frame, right? It says find the way right over here, but you can see that it's this whole frame, so I'm sure that's helping, as well as probably a mid-foot chain plate. So torsion support seems good. So overall heel to toe transition is very smooth. Now moving on to the cushioning setup. So the cushioning setup is, I would say, the most disappointing in his entire signature shoe line. So the Tatum 2 was really nice. I really enjoy full-length air strobo, so the step and comfort is great. The Tatum one, it was also pretty dang nice, right? The foam was actually quite soft for the actual midsole compression, and also there was a softer strobo board, so my heel would dig into the actual foam as well, which felt nice. And then, of course, we had that zoom unit, right? That crazy zoom unit in the forefoot, which was nice and bouncy, has nice compression, right? But here in the Tatum 3, it's more like it's the most responsive type of feel. And it has like a stiffer feel as well. So it is using Cushlon 3.0 foam. It says Cushlon 3.0 right over here. And when you press, it's actually quite soft. And there are some pods of it like exposed, right over here, and also on the lateral side. It's pretty squishy actually. It's soft, right? But yeah, as far as the core feel goes, I would say it's around the same as the Tatum 1, right? So a pretty good core feel. The Tatum 2 definitely has the highest core feel, but it's not that bad. It's around average for core feel, maybe a little bit better than average, but of course you do get that full-length air strobo unit, right? But yeah, as far as the Tatum 3 goes, it is using full-length Cushlon 3.0, and you don't really feel it at all, right? And it's not even that you can feel the actual midsole compression either, because there is none, because it's super duper cage, right? So you would think that the step and comfort would be nice because they sacrifice all of that, but it's not that nice, right? So first of all, the insole is alright. It seems like a regular type of, Ortholite insole. It's not that good, And then underneath that in the heel, we have a pretty stiff strobo board. So it's not super comfortable. However, Cushlon 3.0 is pretty dang soft. So I can feel my heel digging into the Cushlon a little bit in the heel, but step and comfort still isn't that nice, especially comparing to like a soft mesh strobo board, right? For example, in like the Kai 1, the DVD2 SE, the All City 12 Encore, all those have like a really soft foam first of all, but also a soft mesh strobo, right? But here in the Tatum 2, it's a little bit stiffer feeling here in the heel, but it's still pretty nice, right? But also, there is a zoom unit in the forefoot, and the zoom unit feels pretty nice. I can feel a little bit of compression in the forefoot, but it's actually not like super bouncy or anything. It actually feels a little bit more subtle than normal, right? But it does feel like it's a little bit larger. The rectangular zoom unit feels a little bit larger than that. But this definitely is the most disappointing cushioning setup in his entire shoe line, But yeah, I guess the only good thing is, it has good court feel, right? We'll have to see on impact protection. Step and comfort also isn't that great. It'll probably be responsive, but nothing amazing about the cushioning setup here in my personal opinion. And now moving on to the upper. The upper is actually really nice, especially for 125 bucks. So they're using a combination of materials and they layered it strategically so it conforms to your foot very well and also gives you better support in different areas, right? So here in the toe box on the medial side, we have this like softer mesh material, right? So it's actually still pretty supportive feeling, but it's a lot softer than the lateral side. And then on the lateral side, we have, pictures of these flowers and different like textile materials and all that, but it actually feels a lot more supportive, a little bit stiffer as well, which is good, especially on the lateral side of the shoe. Also, we can see some stitching, like it's an embroidered material, which will of course reinforce the upper and give better support as well. So it's a really nice material. It's soft and it gives a little bit because of this mesh, you know what I mean? But then still feels really supportive. It conforms to your foot really well too. It's a really thin material as well. And it feels overall very supportive. So it's a great feeling material, especially for the quality and also especially for the price, which I really do appreciate. We also have a little bit of fuse going around the eyelets. We have the Jumpman logo right here, a very small one. And then also here in the midfoot, it stays like pretty thin and minimal, you know what I mean? It's not super stiff. It doesn't feel structurally very stiff or rigid, but of course, we do have the rubber coming up, right? So that stiffens it up a little bit. And also we have this part as well. So it doesn't feel too bad for support. And then for the tongue, we have like an average amount of padding. It feels very similar, pretty much exactly the same as the Tatum 2. It also says Deuce, which is his son's name, inside the tongue. And it's also a half booty construction tongue, giving you a better overall one-to-one fit. But also it's like this really stretchy material. So that definitely kind of like stretches over your foot, especially in the midfoot, which feels great for the fit. And then here in the ankle area, we actually have pretty minimal padding. Comparing to the Tatum 2 actually has thicker padding here in the ankle area. So I'm guessing that he went for a more minimal feel. And even compared to the Tatum 1, it's a little bit thinner feeling for the foam, which is kind of weird. I don't know why they did that. But yeah, I mean, for me, I like to have a little bit more foam here in the ankle area. So yeah, I really like the material, especially the quality for the price. It's not the best for quality, but it's actually pretty nice for the price. And it feels great on foot. So there's the material there, and it feels very similar to the Tatum 2 when it's broken in, right? But the Tatum 2 feels a little bit stiffer, a little bit more rigid with this textile. This actually feels a little bit less glued down. It just feels better, you know? Now moving on to the fit, I went true to size and this shoe fits me very, very well. You guys can see how pointy the tip of the toe is. So there's a little bit of space, like around that much. But it's not that bad. Of course, no one's foot is shaped like this. So it's just, there's a little bit of space with this tippy toe in the middle of the toe box. But other than that, I feel like most people should be fine going true to size for the length. And also here in the toe box, it is a snug fit. However, there is a little bit more forgiveness in the fit, as in like it kind of stretches just a tiny bit with this mesh material, right? For example, here in the Tatum 2, it doesn't really stretch at all, right? And it's a snug fit. So when I have both of these shoes on at the same time, it's a very similar snugness in the toe box for me, right? But when I curl my toes up, the Tatum 3 has a little bit more forgiveness and a little bit more stretch, so I can curl my toes up a little bit more, probably because of this mesh versus the Tatum 2. I can't really curl my toes up as much. So yeah, it's a little bit more forgiving in that way. And width-wise, I would say it's slightly narrow. So the overall fit is very nice. It's pretty much the exact same fit as the Tatum 2. So if you know what size you are here in this shoe, go pretty much the exact same size in the Tatum 3. And now moving on to the support and lockdown, it feels like it'll be pretty dang good, right? So all the lateral counters are there. Here in the forefoot, you can see this pod. It kind of like, I don't know, this design is kind of weird with the pods, you know, but the rubber does come up acting as a sidewall a little bit here in the forefoot. This overall material, especially with the embroidered part, is very supportive too. Here in the midfoot, it comes up for the rubber, and also here in the heel, it kind of comes down, but there is an internal TPU heel counter, but it's very low on the heel, right? Here on top, look at this. I'm pretty much squeezing the top of the heel, but you only need it like right over here. So lateral containment feels like it's going to be very good, although I don't think, you know, ankle support is going to be very good, right? It's a very thin and soft material. As far as the lateral stability goes, however, this shoe does not seem that good. You know what I mean? Like, there is no outrigger. Look at that. You know what I mean? Like, the Tatum 2 protrudes out a little bit, just a tiny bit. Of course, the Tatum 1, we have this as well. With this outrigger, this plastic piece, although it was kind of soft, it was still like a wide base, right? So actually, let's see which shoe is wider, Tatum 2 or 3. Huh. Oh, it's around the same. Interesting. Huh. But yeah, we'll have to see on lateral stability. I mean, it doesn't feel terrible or anything, but I wish they would have added a little bit of an outrigger there. I mean, every shoe, every basketball shoe should have an outrigger in my personal opinion, but anyways, so there is a support in lockdown. And now moving on to the weight of the shoe, that's what surprised me, all right? This shoe feels extremely lightweight. So the Cushionline 3.0 foam in this shoe doesn't feel like it's contributing too much to the cushion, you know what I mean? Like step and comfort, and also the fact that they caged it so much. However, it's contributing in the way that Cushionline is a very lightweight foam, so it's probably going to be a very lightweight shoe. I'm guessing like 11.3 ounces. Let's check the other shoe. 11.35 ounces. Let's check the Tatum 2. Comes in at 12.15 ounces, which is still pretty light. And the Tatum 1 is 10.85 ounces. So the Tatum 1 is the lightest, but of course, if you guys didn't know, the Tatum 1 also has the worst support in all of these shoes. So I feel like they blended it pretty well. It's still a very lightweight feeling shoe. The upper feels very minimal. The cushion feels low to the ground. We'll have to see on how the traction is. If the traction is top tier, I feel like this shoe is going to be a really good guard shoe because it just feels really comfortable and very fluid. And I especially really like how the upper feels on foot, you know what I mean? So there's the weight there. Moving on to the aesthetics, I really disliked it at first, but it's grown on me a little bit. You know what I mean? I'm not a huge fan of this colorway, but there is another colorway coming out, and that one looks pretty good in my personal opinion. I like how unique it is, you know? And also I like how, you know, the upper kind of goes into the midsole pretty seamlessly. Here in the heel as well, you can see all that, you know, with the lines connecting and all that. So I think that's a pretty cool design, but still not my favorite as far as, it doesn't look that good, you know? I definitely feel like probably the 2 is my favorite, and then the 1, and then the 3, but tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, yeah, I don't know. Again, we'll have to see on how the traction breaks in. Everything else is feeling pretty good, although the cushion is a little bit of a disappointment. If the traction is good, I feel like it'll be a pretty good guard shoe, right? So anyways, that about concludes my first impressions look on the Jordan Tatum 3. Again, if you guys do want to cop any of these shoes, I'll try to leave in the affiliate link in the description box. But that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.